Welcome to the Social Priority Podcast here on Star Panda TV. I'm Star Panda, and today our conversation takes us to doxing and swatting. But first, let me introduce a political streamer who acquires PhDs in his off time. Heem, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm okay. How are you?
I'm all right. So what exactly are you getting your PhD in?
I'm getting my PhD in physics, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it like any specific kind of physics, or?
Yeah, it's in medical physics, so it's like applied, and my research takes place at a hospital. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, that sounds cool. So have you always wanted to do that, or is it just like something that came along as you grew?
It's actually interesting. My parents were both academics, and then growing up, I was kind of like just did the default stuff, and I managed to like do well in high school. So after high school, I just was like really into sports more than anything. And my parents were like, okay, you have to make a decision. So I went to sciences. And then I actually got kicked out of school the first time I went.
Oh, wow.
For just having low grades. And then I went and worked full time for a little bit and realized like how hard minimum wage full time is. So I reapplied to like any school that would take me, and then the school that took me, they offered me physics. They're like, we're not going to give you like biology or whatever science I was in before. They were like, we'll give you physics as an option if you want. So
Okay.
I just kind of went into it as that was the option, and then towards the end of my undergrad, I realized like, okay, this is actually, with the undergrad, there's not much you can do, but if you get a master's and then a PhD, there's a lot of doors open for you. So yeah, that's how I ended up here.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting kind of turnaround, I guess.
Yeah. So you have your YouTube channel, and I heard recently you were going to try and have a more consistent schedule on streaming. How's that going?
I it's okay. Like I can't unfortunately there's only so much consistency that I can have. Considering that I have a very hectic life and I have a partner, like I have things outside of stream, so a lot of times that consistency part is very hard. And like I think overall, if you go look at like average streamers who can make a living and become consistent streamers, they're streaming like, I think that you should try to hit like at least 1,000 hours a year. That seems to be the number. And I think in like the over 2.5 years that I've been streaming, I've hit like 1,400 hours streaming. So I haven't been able to get enough hours in to kind of, I guess, make it grow faster.
I mean, I think that a ton of people don't even hit that far, so I think you're doing pretty well for yourself, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. That's always, I jokingly tweeted once, like, I said something like, if you're ever feeling bad about where you are as a content creator, simply compare yourselves to people who are doing worse than you.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
So you just came out with a new show on your YouTube channel called Heem Interviews. How is that coming along so far, and how difficult was it to get started?
It was very difficult to get started first because I reached out to tons of people. First of all, booking people, I'm sure, as you know, is not very easy.
It is difficult.
It's annoying as hell. And that itself can be kind of like a part-time job, I guess. Like when I sent out my invites, I don't send like stock, like copy paste and change the name.
Yeah.
I'm more like try to be more personal about it. And there's obviously like a lot of people don't respond, and then it's like a question of like, do I want to be annoying and nudge them? Like and there's all these like dynamics that you have to kind of try to tread professionally.
Right.
But I'm happy. I wanted to have more people originally, but I'm actually going on vacation for a couple weeks at the end of August. So I had to squeeze in everything in the month of August. So I thought it would be a good way to like break it up into seasons, get a batch of people, book them, get them signed up, and then once that's done, let a little bit of time pass, start working on a new batch of people.
Yeah, like I think the best you can get from like contacting people is like at most half of them will respond.
Yeah. Honestly, it's, or like even people respond and show interest, and then like when it comes down to locking it down, that's when they drop, and then it's like, okay, like I understand they're busy. I mean, I get invites and sometimes DMs that, you know, I'm mean to answer, but I just you know, it's very difficult to keep up with everything, so I can only imagine how it is for people who are even bigger.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what do you know so far about the whole ffels situation?
I know that she was, I guess, doxxed, and they sent police to her house. Interestingly, I used to actually live in that city.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I have a little bit of, and I have a little bit of experience with the police there. But yeah, like it's really sad and it's scary, really, really scary. And then I guess she made a GoFundMe to raise money to get out of that place, which is understandable. And then that's what I know.
Okay. So I went ahead and made a play-by-play as far as like the details that I know. Since we're like talking about doxing and swatting, we can, like, you can stop me if there's something you want to add, or if you want to like talk about further. So first, as far as I remember, ffels basically gets increasingly in the spotlight for ratioing people on Twitter, especially notable transphobes and homophobes. And then anti-SJW YouTube, including the quartering, started pedo-jacketing her for this, partially as an extension of the groomer discourse, which is a whole other thing. I think we talked about it last week. And then number 3, ffels ratios the quartering, asking for a debate to confront him on this accusation. And then Hunter Avalone kind of gets into this. He starts going over ffels drama and pulls up Kiwi Farms on stream with ffels docs included. After he realizes he does delete the VOD and reaches out to apologize, but the apology kind of turns into a debate. And I kind of want to just pause here because it was kind of just like very, what's the word? Like, it wasn't great that Hunter was just going over Kiwi Farms on stream, like when you know that they dox people on that site. Like,
to be honest, I this is something that I've learned, and I guess it's personal choice for me, and everyone is different. I've covered drama here and there, and from time to time I still, I guess, will, but I'm very picky and choosy about what drama or what kind of personal stuff I cover.
Mhm.
Just because I feel like what happened to Hunter is bound to happen if you're just kind of not careful with the nature of dealing with these kind of things.
Right. Yeah.
And because I have like a career, I don't really have the time to be responsibly handling it, I guess. So I think Hunter just made a horrible mistake.
Yeah.
He realized it, obviously, but yeah, I guess that's kind of what happens if you cover stupid dramas like this. You're bound to get like, I guess, it's like when you get too close to a fire, you know?
Right. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I think this is more like this is bigger than just Hunter though. Like I feel like a lot of people go into certain drama and stuff like that. And personally, I really hate drama. Like I try to stay out of that as much as I can. But like people online aren't being careful enough to like either protect themselves or protect others who might be like I guess harassed online and stuff like that, especially in the Keffel situation.
Yeah, I would hate for that to happen to me.
Yeah, of
So
course.
I'm very I don't know. I'm very respectful of people's space and boundary.
Hmm.
And I don't even like to really on my stream at least I would never do anything like open Kiwi farms or open I don't know. I just think there's better things to talk about
Right.
personally.
Yeah.
But even though I know, you know what the crazy thing is, it gets tons of views. So the incentive to cover it is there, and it's easy.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, it does. And like, I don't know how you really fix that either. Like, you could, I guess, push for people to like call it out when it happens, but like I don't even think that'll work very well because people love drama, you know.
It's the
um
viewer's fault.
it's all the viewer's fault. It's your fault.
Yeah,
You listening there.
that's it.
um but yeah, do you think there's something we can do in like the cities and towns that we have? Like, do you think legal implications are called for in these situations?
I think so. Yeah. Have you seen? There's I saw on Netflix. There's some program called Web of Make Believe or make something like that.
Oh, I've been meaning
And
to watch that
yeah,
actually.
there's it's really good. One episode is about Seth Rich, which is really good.
Hmm.
And another episode is about a guy who was like a notorious swatter from Twitch,
Hmm.
and he within like a span of a couple of years called in like 50 mall and hospital evacuations, like just the worst. And eventually these two guys, I guess, were playing COD, and they called in and told this guy, one of them like told the other guy, hey, can you swap my buddy, he lives over here. So this guy called in, and anyways, long story short, a completely innocent person ended up getting shot by the police who showed up on the scene.
Yeah.
And later, yeah, I mean, it's just like wild, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And after that, I felt like it should have been taken much more serious. So yeah, I mean, it's really scary. I feel like maybe if you're a content creator, once you reach a certain size, you should be able to call into the authorities and like say, hey, this is who I am, da da da. And if you ever get a call, maybe just keep this in mind, keep a note or something like that, and
Yeah.
treat it with more gently, I guess.
Yeah. Um well, more specifically, do you think there should be consequences for doxing as well?
Consequences, yeah, like social consequences or legal consequences.
I'd say legal consequences.
Um, I I hate doxing, so yeah, I
Yeah.
think they probably should be if you can figure out who did it. Yeah, it would make sense to me.
Do you think
Even if it's just like probation off the internet, like you're not
yeah.
allowed to use the internet or something.
Yeah, I don't know how that would do that, but that might be a decent solution if people are like doing it over and over again.
Yeah, it's just hard to even catch who does it though, I think, right?
Yeah.
People are pretty good at masking their IPs and whatnot.
Yeah, true. So let's go ahead and move on to the rest of what happened.
Yeah.
So basically, it's what you said. Keffels gets swatted based on an email with typos in it and her dead name in it. Police proceed to dead name and misgender her and take her property, including computers and phones. So I didn't get to see what video you said it in, but I want to hear your I guess your experience with the police there.
Oh yeah. I didn't actually end up putting the video out.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I used to live there and we lived in like a new development.
Mm-hmm.
Like and I used to I'm Middle Eastern and I love smoking shisha. I don't know if you know what that is.
I don't.
Like a hookah, do you know what that is?
I know what that is. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I like to smoke a hookah. It's like a cultural thing, but
Right.
my mom and dad don't like it. They're not into smoking at all. So one time my buddy was over. He was actually visiting from another town, and we left my house at night and went into drove around like to there's still construction in the development, and we parked on the side of the road, and we were smoking the shisha in my car, and it's just tobacco and stuff, nothing crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just hanging out, and then all of a sudden I see a headlight, like a massive headlight, on a car, and then it turns and like spotlights on our car. I'm like, oh fuck, here comes the cops. So the cops roll up, and it was so funny. The cop comes to the side of the car, and I'm like, hello, officer. And then he's like, looks in the car, sees us two, and I guess it's nighttime, whatever. Instantly says, what kind of weird, freaky shit is going on over here? Implying that, like, I don't know, that we were gay or something. I don't know. It was really weird. I'm like, nothing. We're just smoking shisha. And we had to, like, try to, like, explain to him that we weren't gay. It was really odd.
Yeah, that sounds really weird.
Yeah, I'm like, why would you jump to that conclusion and say, like, what kind of freaky shit is going on over here? It was strange. And also another thing to note is so Canada is like a I think pretty progressive country.
Mm-hmm.
But that progressivism is like in the main cities.
Yeah.
London's like a population of I think maybe 300,000, and it's like a couple hours outside of Toronto, and it's actually like most places outside of Toronto, kind of conservative. So yeah, I guess these are like caveats, I guess, to consider.
I'd say that's about the same as here in the US. Like in Texas, like one of the red, I guess one of the more red states, I'd say. Austin is a very liberal city, probably just because of the population density. And like they're very liberal in their policymaking.
Yeah.
And it's like that for most of the bigger cities all over the country, and like New York, and um I don't know if there's anything in Florida, but I wouldn't be surprised if it matched up. But also,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's
it doesn't.
Florida.
It's how it is in most places.
Yeah. Um so yeah, also the taking her property was like, for how long they took her property, it was like, it was ridiculous because like the email that was sent was obviously fake. Like I obviously haven't seen it myself, but like based on the
I haven't
description
either.
of it, what was that?
I haven't seen it either, but
Yeah, no, I don't think they released it or anything, but like
okay.
based on the description, like having typos and her den name in it, like it was
Mhm.
obvious that she had not written this, because like she wouldn't dead name herself.
I mean, listen, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. Like, I feel
Mhm.
like there's you can't judge. Maybe like my mom's an immigrant. She has typos all the time when she
Yeah,
when she texts me and stuff. I wouldn't want police to not take a threat seriously because there was typos in it, or
that's true. Yeah.
maybe yeah, like I think it's the due diligence you have to do. It's just a matter of like, okay, you showed up, that's understandable, but what do you do when you show up? Like I heard that even the dead name thing, I could say maybe again just to run defense for the police a little bit here. I could say maybe that like the name wasn't updated in their system and that was the name that came up or whatever. But one thing that in my opinion is inexcusable that the police already, admitted they did was the misgendering once they saw Kevels. I think that's really whack. And like
Yeah.
saying your son to her mom.
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty bad.
So yeah, I mean, like I can excuse a couple of the things, but not those specifics, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, so I guess what happened next in the swatting incident is Keffels was released without charges, but is still considered a suspect until London police are basically blasted on social media. Um, and then they clear her and eventually give her stuff back. They didn't at first, but they have now, as far as I know. And then during this time, she has set up that GoFundMe for legal costs and moving and stuff like that. And is currently talking to a lawyer about legal action, which I really hope she takes. Because,
Yeah, for sure, she should 100%.
yeah, I think,
And I think it'll set this kind of stuff when it happens in such a publicized manner can be really effective in like driving policy or changing procedures or something like that,
yeah, absolutely. I think it's a really good thing when like the police are actually able to be held accountable, especially for shit like this, where like they're intentionally harming someone.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'll
Especially in a
probably,
public way, it's good to kind of embarrass them a little bit.
yeah, true. um, and also I'll probably try to throw the GoFundMe under the in the description because like those legal costs are going to be like horrible. So, and unsurprisingly, the Quartering and Destiny, among others, were celebrating her swatting, even after previously being against swatting. I think this is like awful for like. I think it's like a kind of a terrible pattern online that we have where people celebrate others being swatted. Especially like in the way that it happens. Like I guess what are your thoughts on I guess people like cheering on this kind of thing?
in general, I and like this is coming from someone who's generally a fan of the content that Destiny makes. I think that what's happened to him is after being on the internet for I think 13 years now, he has like a black heart.
Yeah.
So I think that he's still a smart guy and he's a good debater and stuff like that. But I think his heart is like just blackened completely. And in a lot of ways, he kind of that comes out, and the scaffold situation is one of them. Now, I will say that like between the two of them, it's very personal. Keffels obviously hates him too.
Yeah.
It's not a one-way street. And I could see a scenario where Destiny gets doxxed and Keffels celebrates it. I don't think either one is really above the other in a lot of these situations. I just personally think it's best to like treat everyone with professionalism. I like to treat people in the space like people in the office and be respectful, be professional. And I think that what Destiny said in that situation was really whack. And you're right, like it's because he's been doxxed himself, and he thinks that like it's, I guess, what, not that bad, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that
um
it's fine now because like
yeah,
it doesn't
or
feel
that,
bad.
like,
So
I think his take was like that she was able to make all this money off of it, but I don't know, I would take not being doxxed and not having that money.
yeah, like the money is literally just to mitigate the um issues of being doxxed and swatted.
Yeah,
So like I
yeah,
don't think that's a very good defense of that kind of behavior. But
yeah.
like yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why he's too caught up in this personal feud.
Yeah.
And like, I can understand why in a way, like Keffel's, I guess, bragged about getting him banned, even though she later said that she didn't report him or whatever. But still, it would be annoying if you're someone who just got banned and lost a big part of your income to see like people celebrating it. And I
I
guess
think
he's never gonna let that go.
I think the way Keffels described it was that like Destiny blamed her for the ban, and then she went ahead and took credit for it, even though she didn't do anything. But like, yeah, it's a weird uh little dynamic that's happening right now. So
Yeah, it's really bad on both sides. I think they
yeah,
should either like try to kiss and make up or just never talk about each other. And even Destiny's buddies are telling him like, "Bro, lean off of talking about Keffels. Like, just move on." Because he is actually making a lot of really good content lately. He's debating a lot of red pill, manosphere, misogynist types, and going on really, really big podcasts and stuff, and spreading these like ideas of respect and consent and stuff like that. So he should just stick to that and leave others alone, I guess.
yeah. I used to watch him. I hadn't in a few years, but like I'm glad he's doing better with his content. Like challenging people who need to be challenged that way.
Yeah, and especially what I really like is he's going on big podcasts and stuff like Fresh and Fit.
I haven't
He
seen it myself.
Okay,
No.
it's huge podcast, like, and all they do is like have girls on and just like call them sluts, basically. It's really
Yeah.
bad. And he just went on that this week, and like, he was explaining the concept of, respecting women, having all of the things that as a progressive you would like to hear. And I think that like it's better he just stick to that
Yeah.
than feuding with people. And
Yeah.
like it's not a good way to it's not a good strategy for growth anyway from his point of view to be
Yeah.
known as the guy who celebrates swatting, or to be known as, all of the things that people who don't watch his content think of him as.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um but yeah, yeah, we already talked about like we agree basically on swatting should be illegal. Like basically everywhere. I don't know how we make these cities to make it illegal, except for like just badgering them over and over until they do. Um
Sometimes it's hard for them too, because like the call comes from an anonymous source,
right.
or I don't really know exactly. I just think like there should be some sort of way to verify it, I guess, first, or
Yeah, I
maybe come knock first. I don't know.
yeah. Yeah. I think they should probably have more like no swatting lists. Like and I think a lot of people talk about this, like trying to get those in like all over police stations and stuff like that, so there isn't any confusion about it.
Yeah, they
Um,
need to. I mean, it's like, remember like when revenge porn was starting to come out first. Like nobody really. I actually just watched another Netflix documentary about revenge porn, and
mhm.
some website. This guy used to just solicit people to post pictures, videos of their ex girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, and their like Facebook accounts and stuff, and their doxes. And it used to just be like a totally legal, perfectly acceptable thing. This guy used to make racks. And just recently, I guess now, there's more of a push to prevent stuff like this. I think it's illegal now in most places.
Mhm.
So I think like these kind of internet crimes, I guess you can call them, they're a little bit behind the police. The police are a little bit behind on the severity of some
Yeah.
of these crimes. So I'm hopeful that like, stuff like what happened to Keffels, as unfortunate as it is, it's cool that she's kind of taking this on as like an opportunity to hopefully get some change.
Yeah, definitely. That would be great for pretty much everybody to get a little bit of change happening.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Um,
And also, I do think people should be more careful with their online personas as well. Like, I don't know if you can, like, um, some people they have their same Twitter account that they had in 2010, and then they started making content now. Like, I would recommend that if anyone wants to become a content creator, make a fresh account,
yeah.
and a fresh alias, and just start fresh. Um, yeah, that would be my recommendation. I think my account I started when I first started streaming. I started my Twitch, my Twitter, my YouTube in like May of 2020. So,
Mhm.
and I still have like, my Twitter account from from way back in the day, and like but like I've just put it on private and I don't really use it anymore. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, I think that pretty much covers it. Um, do you want to do like a couple current events type of things, or
yeah, sure, I can hang for a little bit longer. No issue.
okay.
What did you actually? I want to ask you. What do you think about this? So the GoFundMe that Keffel split. I think one of the biggest critiques is that she keeps moving the goal.
Oh, people
Uh,
do that all the time. Like I don't
I'm
I
not familiar with it, but do you think that? Yeah, what do you think about that? Because originally I think it was like 10K or something, and now it's been moved up to 90K.
I mean, she was doing it over time because she kept hitting the goal. Um and people on GoFundMe move the goal all the time to like I guess broaden how what they're going to do with it. And she said exactly what she's going to do with the money. At first I think it was mainly to replace all her stuff that the police took. And then it grew into like moving because of the docs. Or I think it was probably both of them. Um, and then it was the legal defense, and now she might be taking legal action, and that's going to take a lot of money because lawyers cost a lot of money. So, like, I think over time, your scope might grow,
Yeah,
and people are giving her this money, so like, I don't think it's an issue that she moves the goal. Like, people can see what
I
the
think
goal was previously. I'm pretty sure.
I
Well,
think the thing, and I agree with you for the most part. I think
mhm.
maybe the expectations changed of like maybe she wanted to first find a new place to live in London, and now she sees, okay, maybe I can move to Toronto where it's more LGBTQ friendly or something like that.
And it's not like she's like uh it's not like she has this money and she's just asking for money from other people. She wouldn't have the money if the people didn't give it to her, you
For sure,
know?
yeah, I 100% agree. People who
Yeah.
are giving the money are supportive of it, but I will say though, I feel like there's something to say. Again, this is people who have been critiquing her, and I was supposed to have a interview with her tomorrow, but we have to push back. But
Hmm.
I would ask her this in person myself, that people are criticizing and saying that part of the fact that if you keep constantly moving the goal, what happens is there's like the psychological trick of anyone who, let's say the goal is at 50,000 and the current funding is at 45,000, then people who are like clicking on the link, they'll be like, oh my god, she's almost there, let me donate like 5,000 more, or 1,000 more. And then once that's hit, it like moves again. That people are like, in a way, it's like you're psychologically driven at the end to like help as much as you can. But if
Hmm.
the end keeps moving, that's kind of like I think that's a valid critique as well.
I
Like if
I
if
guess.
the goals change, like it should change once to like a much higher number, not like incrementally to keep hitting it.
I guess that could be a decent critique, but like it's not going to be every person who sees like at the when it's close to the end of the goal, you know? Like
Yeah.
it'll move up, but like people aren't going to see like uh if it's like really close, that's just going to be a few people who do it.
I don't know. I don't know. I
Yeah.
guess I don't know. Either way, that I don't really care.
Yeah.
If she can retire from this, great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if
I
she can make $1 million and retire, then fuck it. Who cares? You know, I don't care. People want to support, they can support. This capitalism.
Yeah, pretty much.
I will say though that in general, I feel like this is something again that recently, due to the ffels thing, or even remember when RGR? Do you remember the RGR?
I
And
do, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like, regardless of whatever you think the argument is, I was like pretty shocked that people were calling for contacting the law board or whatever, and they actually like added the law board to say like, is this a person you want to be a lawyer or whatever? Like to me, that was like a big like wake up call, I guess.
Yeah.
And like sometimes I feel like some people have nothing to lose. And so with those kind of people, I don't really want to fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
So I think when ffels is like she is an agitator. I don't think you would disagree.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah.
She's an agitator, and when you're an agitator of these kind of right wing, I guess, weirdos or whatever, or your shit's all over Kiwi farms and stuff like that, that like you're kind of a target, and not saying it's right, but it's just like the reality of it.
Yeah.
And like personally for me, it's not worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not for everyone. I think she probably knew that this was a risk going in. But like it's still like super horrible and like
And I mean, she grew insanely fast. Like
yeah.
just last year this time, I think she probably had like 15,000 maybe Twitter followers. Now she's at like 120, and you know, we had like Prime Minister candidate, what's his name, Jagmeet Singh is tweeting about her, and so she had news articles written about her and da. So like obviously her agitator role has helped to grow her presence massively, which I'm sure has helped. But again, it's just like you got to take the good with the bad, knowing that this is an option, you know.
Yeah. So, I believe Libs of Tik Tok had posted a video of a children's hospital. I have to hold on. I have to figure out which children's hospital it is. Boston's Children's Hospital. Basically got a ton of death threats from a bunch of right-wing people who were following Libs of Tik Tok. And Libs of TikTok.
Wait, sorry. Say that again.
So,
the Boston Hospital. Go ahead.
Yes, Boston Children's Hospital. Basically, were targeted by a lot of online harassment from the far right. And basically, it's because Libs of Tik Tok had posted a video accusing them of grooming because
The hospital?
yes, because they posted a video that had gone over like gender affirming care, and it wasn't even for children, it was for adults. But I guess like they assumed, since it was from the Boston Children's Hospital, that it was supposed to be for children, even though like they don't give gender affirming care to children there.
Okay.
Especially like hysterectomies or stuff like that, because that's what the specific video was about. And now the Boston Children's Hospital is warning their employees and like making sure that they know how to respond to these kinds of things. Like, so what do you think about like this whole harassment
That's really
campaign?
fucked up. I think Libs of TikTok is one of the worst things to exist in society right now.
Yeah, I would
And
agree.
you know what's really disappointing is that now I saw recently there's a Chuds of TikTok.
I saw
And
that.
to be honest, like I don't know if that's like two wrongs make a right, you know? Like I hate the way that Libs of TikTok carries themselves, not because they're picking on people on the left, but because I disagree with things like doxing or bringing like tons of attention to small accounts and shit like that. So I don't know. In a way, I'm kind of like grossed out by it.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I wanted to say that. And then also, I actually know one person who was a victim of Libs of TikTok. She was like a teacher,
Mhm.
and they had like an off day. Like you know those days when the teachers show up but the students don't. They have like
Yeah.
teacher training and stuff. Yeah, it was one of those days, and she was wearing a shirt that was like twerking for Moulin Rouge or something like that. I don't know.
Mhm.
Something not Moulin Rouge, sorry. It was Mulan, you know, the Disney thing,
Mhm.
but it was like twerking or something. She was wearing that shirt and she made a TikTok and posted it to like 100 followers maybe.
Yeah.
And the next thing she knows, that was on Libs of TikTok, posting her full account, whatever, that she was doxxed. And then later that night, it was on Fox News.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit. Imagine you're that person and you're just a regular teacher. And then next thing you know, you are on Fox News. Like, it must be so weird.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure video from Libs of TikTok also got onto Fox News. I have no idea why they're taking clips uh from a Twitter account that is just run by some random lady. It's really weird reporting that's happening at Fox News right now. Um,
Well, they're just concerned with the culture wars, right?
yeah, essentially. I I don't know how you fix something like this, honestly. Like, um,
Um, I don't know. I think focusing, I don't know. I think there's like a healthy dose of fighting back, and then also like trying to, like, for example, right? I think that like if the Democrats, not even that this is remotely possible, but if the Democrats focused a little bit more on actual, you know, helpful policies, like let's say for example, they're like, hey, we're gonna pass Medicare for all. Um, I think that they would see that this culture war stuff would kind of die down a little bit. People in the end, like they just want to live comfortable lives. And a lot of times I feel like this stuff is used to kind of agitate people more and more. And I feel like if you talk to conservatives, they might think like, holy shit, there's so much horrible things going on with the LGBTQ community or whatever. But like most of them don't even know a single LGBTQ person.
mhm.
Or they, you know, like we said earlier, the rural areas are more conservative. And typically, at least from my experience, having lived in multiple places in Canada, LGBTQ people tend to come live in the bigger cities. And so chances are those conservatives who are like bigoted towards LGBTQ people, they probably never even met LGBTQ person. So I don't know, I feel like it's really harmful for you know society to be fighting on these kind of constantly fighting on these issues when in reality I think if you really sat down with it I could probably convince conservative of most LGBTQ positions.
Mhm. Yeah. I what do you think we can do beyond like just waiting for Democrats to do something? Because like we've talked about on the show, that we have a solution of like talking to people who are anti LGBT, like like I guess every now and then, like just having those conversations and stuff like that, getting to know people and stuff like that. But like, is there anything beyond that we can do? Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like if you, I don't know, I think the way I carry myself is I'll like critique conservatives or conservatism without calling them dumb fucks or subhuman or pieces of shit or all these things. I feel like if you get that kind of sour, that you'll never be appealing to anyone. I
Mm-hmm.
have like people who watch my stream. One of my biggest supporters are, donators and contributors. I think he has by far the most chat messages in my Twitch chat compared to anyone else. He's a conservative Christian, goes to church. And he like probably disagrees with me on a ton of things. But, I'm respectful, I'm a nice guy, I'm trying to be funny, and like I think these kind of things we have to focus on a little bit more. And maybe it's easy for me because I'm a guy and, my existence isn't in question. But, I'm an immigrant and I feel we deal with racism and stuff. And yeah, I think like we just have to try to be a little bit nicer to each other. And unfortunately, lately I've been getting very disappointed by like everyone I feel like just talks past each other.
Yeah.
And on the left we take the most extreme version of what the righties say. The righties take the most extreme version of what the lefties say, and nothing productive really happens here, I guess.
I think part of it is that like the left, like, are focusing a lot on the farther right and kind of conflating some of the less far right with the further right. Um,
Well, and I would say that the conservatives are getting pushed further right as well, just because those people are like taking over the popular positions, and
some of them.
like yeah.
I don't think it's all of them. Some of them are definitely being basically like what's the word? I don't know the word, but they don't align with like that side as much
Mhm.
anymore because like I guess they're saying it goes so far right that like they can't even like we talked about this too last week. There was a I guess a gay caucus in Texas that was part of the GOP, and a lot of them were quitting because they weren't making any progress, and in fact they were like losing progress on that stuff. It was I think that's basically how people are starting to feel. Like there's going to be like this I guess reckoning, and we'll see I guess later on if who gets sided with who in this situation. Like you have also your Liz Cheney's, who's not really a hero, but like is being seen as a hero by a lot of Democrats. And she's like has agreed with Donald Trump on many things except for the election. So like uh it's difficult to see where the line's going to be at this point.
Yeah, I
Um
mean, I don't know. I feel like yeah, like I said, sometimes I feel like the left makes it like easy to get to for the right. We like few give them fuel,
mhm.
For example, like now I don't really know how I personally feel about um what is it, like dear gender, xeno gender, stuff like this. But I feel like if we let that become like one of the top talking points or focuses, then that's a L. Because first we need to get like trans acceptance a little bit. Um, and I don't know, sometimes I feel like we make it so easy for the right to point to us. For example, another one that is like I have no issues with drag shows. Kids going to drag shows. I'm not grew up. I lived in the LGBTQ village in Toronto for like 5 years.
Mhm.
And it was amazing. But like and again, I went to drag shows. Not all of them are sexual. I completely understand the dynamics here. And when every one of those videos came out that was talking about how, look at this drag show, kids are here. You've seen, the ones I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
followed that discourse.
Yeah, exactly. So like when those would come up, I would always say, no, like there's nothing wrong with this. Like this is wholesome, whatever. They're just like, it is what it is. It's just like a performance thing, and it doesn't have to be sexual.
Yeah.
But then I saw one where the drag performer was nude, and kids were there, and that's where for me I'm like, nah, like I can't defend this, and I feel like things like that, like that's a bad look. Like
I think I know what you're talking about, and I don't think that was a drag performance. I think that was burlesque. And
No,
she wasn't trans or a cross-dresser.
I don't know. Anyways, okay.
If we're thinking about the same situation,
who cares? But my point being, like, if that were to happen, let's say, I feel like things like this, like, we can't allow these kind of things to, like, these are bad examples, and then it becomes really hard for us to defend the more, okay or acceptable, or to say, okay, they're not groomers or something like that.
Well, let me ask you this.
I don't bring attention to it anyways.
Let me ask you this. How would you prevent it?
No, I mean, you can't, right? If it happens, it happens. But I think that like we should be more self-aware. Like that trans, let's say in this hypothetical scenario, that person, the performer, they should be self-aware enough, or the venue should be self-aware enough to say, hey, listen, right now we are on the target of conservatives. Like they're looking at us through the what do you call it? Like the eye hole thing, whatever, the target. What is it in guns? The scope, right?
Yeah, the scope.
Yeah, I can think of it. So if they should say, okay, look, right now we're on their scope. Like they're looking for us to like get caught doing some dumb shit. Like put your shirt back on, literally shit like that. Like we need to make sure that we, yeah, I guess like don't give them any fuel as much as possible.
I don't know if that's really possible. Not for them anyways, like who were in those videos, because the discourse kind of came out of nowhere,
Right.
Like
yeah, I mean, that's just one example.
Yeah.
But yeah, like in general, I think, or sometimes I'll see like lefties say stuff like bedtimes are evil or something like this, and like or weird thing, or homework is evil or whatever shit like that, and it's like, okay, like this is not the thing to be focusing on right now. I love you guys, but we can do better.
Yeah, I think that's probably more for people who are terminally online at this point.
Yeah, but then if those terminally online caricatures, I guess, and end up becoming what the right critiques, and even though they're such a small group of people, but yeah, I guess that would be my biggest thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. I appreciate you coming on.
Hey, no worries. Thanks for inviting me. I know I hope you were able to get other people as well, and I feel like sometimes this happens to me as well, where I'm like, fuck, like this person's never gonna want to come on my show, like they're way bigger than me or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think you should just go for it, so I'm glad you reached out. Keep reaching out to people, and best of luck.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah,
it was a good chat.
Yeah. Do you want to shout yourself out?
Yeah, you can check me out at twitch.tv/Heem, or on Twitter at @theonlyheem, and on YouTube also as Heem. I just interviewed Vosh 2 days ago or yesterday or something like that, and I got an interview with Shoe on Head coming up next week actually, so be on the lookout for those.